What's up? Tongue and groovy? Let's dimension our parts. We want exactly the same thickness and exactly the same width. And when I can put 4 in my finishing planer together at one time, it's cleaner, quicker, and safer. Speaking of consistency, we'll try a stop block. As we cross-cut our stiles and rails to length, exactly the same length. Next up is our groove. We will cut the groove using our self-centering system, which places our groove on center. I first put the blade in the center of the rail by eye. I run it, flip end for end, run it again, and it should be in the center. Tight to the table, tight to the fence, consistent rate of feed. Once I think I've got something, I will now check it on my panel that was sanded to 220. And when I have the groove fitting, end grain and edge grain, it's time for the tongue. Now, we might call this a tenon, and we might call it a stub tenon. Here, we're going to call it a tongue. I don't care what you call it. Just make sure it's accurate. The stop block was placed directly next to the dado set, which was set at 1/2 inch. This verifies the length of our tenon at 1/2 inch. If you remember, our groove is a tad deeper than the 1/2 inch. 9/16 will work. But as long as it's more than 1/2 inch, this will ensure that our rail meets up against the stile where the customer will view this. Okay, let's make some tongues. You probably don't want to go that fast, but you get the idea. Keep things accurate. Keep the sawdust off of the sled. Consistent pressure. Notice I'm checking the center of the groove. If it's too tight and I check the end of the groove, crickety crack, smickety spack. We don't like to break mama's back. Okay, looks like we might have something. We're gonna see if it fits as far as the tongue and groove goes. And then we'll probably pick up that panel. Well, we never cut it to size. So why don't we draw the number, or at least jot down the number, the width and the length of the panel. Now remember, because it's solid wood, it needs to expand and contract about 1/8 inch per 12 inches. I will at least have a 1/16 gap around the perimeter of the door. Even in plywood, I would have 1/8 inch side to side and 1/8 inch up and down, and or a 1/16 around the perimeter. With solid wood, I will have 1/8 inch minimum per foot across its width. Cut the panel to size, get the sanding block out, break off all those fuzzy corners, and tap, tap, tap. Looks like it's gonna work. We're gonna grab some clamps and see how this works, and looking pretty good. All right, it's time.